Psalm 8 is what is known as a messianic psalm. What does that mean? It means that it is a psalm that previews the life of the Messiah, Jesus the Messiah, in some ways. And the reason we call it that is because Psalm 8 is quoted twice in the New Testament, and it is applied directly to the life of Jesus. So we mentioned this a little bit briefly when we talked about the previous verses in the last 2 days, when it says, "What is man that you are mindful of him, the Son of Man that you care for him?" That applies to us. It also applies to Jesus. But then the next verse very directly applies to Jesus, where it says, "You, God, made him a little bit lower than the heavenly beings, and then crowned him with glory and honor." The heavenly beings in that first part, it can mean angels, it can mean the planets, it can mean all creation. A lot of people take it to mean the angels. But it describes a part of the life of Jesus when Jesus didn't look so glorious. He looked like he was lower than the angels, and we see that a couple of times even. Like when Jesus needed to be ministered to by angels when he was being tempted in the wilderness. When Jesus needed to be ministered to by the angels when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane. When Jesus was hanging on the cross, he didn't look like an angel. He didn't look glorious at all. He looked lower than them. He looked lower than the lowest of the low. That's the part of life that is known as Jesus' humiliation. The part where he lowered himself. Then the next line has what's called his exaltation. He was crowned with glory and honor. He rose from the dead. He ascended. He's seated at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. He's ruling over all things for the benefit of his church. He's doing those things. It's like the lows and the highs of the life of Jesus, the high and the low, and he had both, which means at whichever stage of life you're in right now, Jesus knows. If life is hard, if you're losing strength, if you feel weak, even if you're loaded down by the weight of sin, your sin, Jesus knows how that feels. He didn't have any sins of his own, but he willingly carried ours. And because he did, he knows. He knows that sometimes that is your life. And you need a friend who knows how that feels. Who also knows and is able and has the power and the authority to remind you of something else. That's not only your life. It's not the only part of it. So is the glory. So is the exaltation. So is the day when God will wipe every tear from your eyes. When there will be no more death, or crying, or pain. Because all the things that weigh us down here, they will have all been taken away. That's your life too. And it's coming. It's coming. So many years before you ever lived this life, God wanted you to know that he was thinking about it. He was thinking about you when you're in your hard times. And he wants you to remember him and what he has prepared for you through the life and the death and the resurrection, the humiliation and the exaltation of a Jesus who knows how you feel. The life of Jesus, he is your life. He is. He is. Rest well tonight, my friends.